Whenever you're ready.
We rolling.
Okay.
We live,
Good to
baby.
know. Oh, I was looking at the YouTube app on my phone, I guess.
Okay.
My phone must be behind.
Oh.
It's all good. All right.
Come on in, people. Come on in.
Come on in. Yep. We're excited to talk some football.
Get some
Recap the second round.
Get some light. There we go. There
Oh,
we
yeah.
go.
Is this one good?
Yeah, we good. We good.
Cool.
What's up, bro?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Back at it again. That was a great game.
That was a great game. I'm excited to recap what we just watched, and not only that, but what went down over the last 2 days, man. So
yeah,
it's oh man, the stage is set. The stage is set. The Final Four is set. We are getting closer and closer to crowning college football champion. So that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And
got two good games in the second round. So everybody was freaking out about the blowouts in the first round.
Yeah.
By the way, in the NFL playoffs over the past couple of years, there have been some blowouts in the first round of that league as well. So it happens.
But before we get into that,
okay,
let's go ahead and do this, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. You already know what time it is, man. We just witnessed Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, take down the Bulldogs of Georgia.
That's
man,
right.
That game was not what we expected.
Somewhat.
It's not what I expected.
The type of game, though.
Yeah.
The defense and the special teams reigning supreme.
I love that.
Explain why you think it wasn't exactly what you expected.
I expected a closer matchup. And you can't fault Georgia because there were, they had some players out and, things. You got to line up and play the game at the end of the day. So
SEC dominance no more.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I know you're going to be on that.
Hey, listen, man. We do have one SEC team, man, still.
Yep.
So.
But with that said, some people don't even consider Texas to be a true blue blood SEC team since they're a newcomer.
Right.
So it's tough.
Man, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. But with that being said, they still have one team in the race. And before we get to Texas and who they'll be facing in the next round of the Final Four, let's just talk about what we saw tonight, man. And before we do that, man, thank you to everybody who's sitting at home watching. I hope you guys watched a great game that, like we just said. If you're not already, please be sure to follow us on Instagram and X at the Sportaholics, man. We love to continue the conversation with you guys there and just talk some ball, man. Not only do we need to talk football, but we could talk basketball. We could talk college basketball. We could talk XFL, UFL, a lot of things coming out right now. So by all means, man, just go ahead and follow us and drop a comment on one of our videos. You could the live stream that we have going on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed to YouTube, please make sure you do that as well. Show the page some love. Peyton.
Yes.
Let's talk about what we just witnessed, man.
Right.
What did you think about the game?
First of all, big shout out to Notre Dame. I think it's fair to say in each of our lifetimes, that's the biggest Notre Dame win that they've had this century.
Yeah.
That's from what I can think of. We all know about the 2012 game against Alabama in the championship. They're past that. They just beat SEC Supreme, So
yeah.
That's my first takeaway. Good for them. Good for Marcus Freeman. Good for Riley Leonard. They earned it.
Yeah.
And what's worse for Georgia is that they really beat the SEC in an old-fashioned style of game.
Yes.
I mean, when you're talking about a field position game, defense is paramount, a couple of plays here and there, and they were better situationally.
The one thing that stood out to me was right before the half and opening up the second half with Notre Dame, how Notre Dame came out. It was a field goal game, field goal Georgia, field goal Notre Dame. Well, field goal Notre Dame, field goal Georgia, field goal Notre Dame again. And then right before the half closed out, they were able to punch it in due to a turnover by Georgia, a costly turnover at that. So And then not only that, after they got the ball first in the second half and they returned the kick. So that right there within itself was a momentum builder. And there was really no quit in Georgia this game. I don't feel like they gave up. I just feel like they were very like they were out coached by Notre Dame a lot with small plays, like even the fourth down play where they
had the punt unit on.
Yeah, and then they ran them off. You know what I mean? So and then with that being said, they still got the defense of Georgia to jump on that play, giving them a first down. So I think it was just small things like that within the game. And you brought out a good point earlier in the game that Notre Dame started pretty slow by shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties and stuff like that. So man, that was a good game. I just wish it was a closer game, but also a bit more high flying at the end of the day. It was very old school. It was very old school, like you said, man.
Which a lot of people came to expect in this one, with the way the rosters are constructed, with the way the staffs are built. There was a reason that total was around 45 points for both teams. But again, I just can't get over the fact that Notre Dame beat a big-time SEC team in an old-fashioned style of way. That's a big statement. And you know what the headlines are going to be tomorrow. The SEC is not nowhere near being the dominant conference anymore, which they can still put all the players in the draft. They can have all these side things. They're not winning the games on the field come this time of the season. So
I don't know if the media is ready to admit that just yet.
Some people are, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens. But just to recap what just went down, man. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, just took down the University of Georgia Bulldogs 23-10 in an amazing game, man, in the Sugar Bowl.
The Sugar Bowl.
So that was a really good game. And I like how these games, they've always had purpose, but now these bowl games have even more purpose. And honestly, it's uplifting the title of these bowl games a little bit in my eyes and making them more meaningful. And I'm sure America, even though the game started relatively early, I think that a lot of people were able to tune in and a lot of people got to witness some good football being played, man. And that's all we could ask for real. Just being a fan of the sport, man.
No doubt.
And can we talk about Riley Leonard for a little bit? How he played the game, man. What did you think about his performance?
Man, 14 rushing attempts, had less than 100 yards passing. So he put his body on the line and he earned it in every which way. I mean, Notre Dame's first points came off of 2 big runs by him. So that was a big part of the game, obviously, for everybody watching. His legs and decision-making for the most part.
Well, except for the one play, the decision-making part. I don't know. Listen, when he went up and over the cornerback for the first down, he had to make that play. But by all means, man.
Putting his body on the line, though.
As a quarterback, I know Coach Freeman was on the sideline and he was just like, man, like,
don't get hurt.
Come on, man, we need you. And at that time, you're not really thinking about that. You're just thinking about the current play and trying to make what's best for the team in order for you guys to win. So, I thought he had a great game with his arm, with his legs, especially with his legs. It was only really one time where he got stuffed for a 4th down conversion, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, I think he did a good job with his decision making and putting his team in the best situation to win, which they did. So congratulations again to Notre Dame, man.
Yeah. And just a shout out to Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
He just out-coached Kirby Smart, who many think is the best current coach in college football.
Yeah.
That's huge for him.
I mean, that is tough to say that. Okay. I'm not even going to get into that argument right now because that's.
I don't know if I think that, but you can't argue with the fact that a lot of people think Kirby is the current best coach. At least some of them. But I hear you.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. I would beg to disagree.
Okay.
But
either way, Freeman outcoached him today.
Yeah. I mean, and current or most recent in college football, I think he has proven himself quite a bit amongst the ranks of coaches. So I can give him that he's probably top 5 college coach right now. But that's another story for another day, man. But all right, so we have that matchup. So
I guess we can work our way back.
Right. I mean, why not start here since we just witnessed them? So Notre Dame goes on to face Penn State. I like that matchup.
Yeah.
But before we get to that matchup, let's go ahead and talk about Penn State beating Boise State.
Right.
All right. So Boise State went on to take Boise State faced Penn State on what was that?
Tuesday. It's all mixed up.
Yeah, it's all mixed up. I mean, we getting weekday, not to mention like, it's the holiday break and all that good stuff. So days are just kind of spread all over the place.
Spread out all over the place.
So what did you think about that game?
Even though the margin was wide at the end, that was another tightly contested game for the most part. At one point, 17-14.
Yeah.
Midway to late third quarter. Like I had said on our Tuesday show, Penn State did a pretty good job of containing Ashton Jeanty, which was a big part of the game.
Yep.
And I think Tyler Warren, Penn State's tight end, he was a bit of an X factor.
Yeah.
I mean, one of his touchdown catches was pretty incredible.
Right.
He was a bit of a mismatch for Boise State, but I enjoyed watching that one.
Yeah, me too, man. It was unfortunate because I wanted to see Ashton Jeanty shine like he did all year. Unfortunately, I think he finished with like 6 yards short of breaking Barry Sanders' overall season rushing yard record. So that's unfortunate for him. That would have been a great cap to the season that he had. They didn't win, so they're not going on to, fight another day within getting that trophy as a college football champion. But to walk away with something would have been great for him, especially, coming from a school like Boise State. I'm not saying that they're a small school, but they are a smaller school than the likes of a Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, so on and so forth. So, I'm interested to see where his career goes. But not to mention, you did talk about the offensive side of the ball for Penn State, but we got to talk about the defensive side of the ball as well. Like, they pretty much put a lid on what Ashton Jeanty could do. They said, you know what, we're going to allow everybody else to beat us, but just not the running back. So from the get-go, when we were watching that game, it was like they were keying in on what Ashton Jeanty, what he possibly could do, and they were not going to allow that.
And what he had been doing all season.
Yes. So great game. Like you said, it was a closer game than what the
score would indicate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But speaking of the score indicating how great of a game it was, we have Oregon and Ohio State. What I could not, man, if you guys go back and watch our live from Tuesday, I thought this game was going to go the opposite direction, but Ohio State came out and they came to play. They did not leave any room for question on the table when it came to this matchup. And if Oregon thought that they were going to come out and just breeze through Ohio State, they had another thing coming, man.
They did.
The talent level and the experience of Dylan Gabriel had nothing to do with what happened in the matchup against Ohio State. So, man, what are some of your thoughts on that game?
I thought Will Howard for Ohio State had probably his best game of the season.
Yeah.
And I think Ohio State's game plan was to put the ball in his hands, and that worked out for them, especially early on in the game. And then their defense just fed off of that early lead.
Yeah.
Stuffed the run and got after the passer and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
So it was a snowball effect, really. I mean, Oregon really couldn't do anything about it until late in the first half.
And congratulations to you. I mean, big ups to you for calling that out, because you did say Will Howard is going to have to step up and ball out in this game. So,
and play aggressive and play free.
Now, here's the kicker to me, man. Not only did he have 3 touchdowns, but he had 17 completions and over 300 yards.
Yeah.
That is crazy, bro.
That's why I'm saying that had to be one of his top 2 games this season.
Yeah. I mean, amazing percentage, amazing QBR. I think that this game showed that Ohio State, even though they are ready to play their best football right now. So they showed a bit of weakness, but they erased all those questions in this last game. So
Yeah. And just to speak on Oregon for a second, their defense had shown some vulnerabilities in big spots. Really, in the last game they played against Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, their defense was leaky. Or against Boise State in week 2, Ashton Jeanty ran all over them. So, which is surprising to me since Dan Lanning is in year 3 there. I know they experienced some injuries throughout the year.
Yeah.
Still a great season to them. They just had a tough draw right there against Ohio State, a hot Ohio State team. So
you couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to think that the game was going to go like that. They jumped out, what was it, 31-0, something like that? 34-0? You couldn't pay me to think that it was going to happen like that. And if you go back and watch our live, I thought it was going to be a blowout in the opposite direction. I mean, they've been playing solid all year, and to come and choke the way they did, it's just insane.
Let's get to the last game we haven't hit on, which may have been the best game.
Okay.
Texas, Arizona State. What did you think of that one?
It was the closest game. And like I said in our previous show, I thought that this was going to be a good game. I did think that Texas was going to walk away with this one in easier fashion than they did, which the game started that way. But by all means, Arizona put up a great fight. This game went into 2 overtimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Quinn Ewers. This guy had an amazing game. He
closed it out.
His decision making as well, and not to mention closing the game out. Texas defense had to step up big in the second overtime. So sealing the deal with the interception. I thought that they had a great game. And in order to, right now, these are the type of games that we want to see. Teams that's going to lay it out all on the line and fight the hardest when it comes to moving on to the next round. Like the other 3 games that we talked about, those games were kind of bagged early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we knew who was gonna win those games. But with that Arizona and Texas game, I thought that you had to really sit on the edge of your seat and you had to see what was gonna happen. So
I think this is still a very stout and good Texas defense.
Yeah.
I just think they were left hung to dry in this one as their offense continuously went 3 and out.
Yeah.
Even when they scored in an explosive fashion. So I don't know what the time of possession was in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona had the ball for over 40 minutes.
Wow.
I'll have to go look at it.
Yeah.
But that was a Texas defense that was tired by the end of that one. And that's a big reason that Scattaboo had such a great game running the ball.
Yeah.
Really doing everything, throwing touchdown passes, catching touchdown passes.
Did you say Arizona had the ball for over 40 minutes?
I think so.
So they were close. They had the ball for 37 minutes.
Okay, 37.
Yeah.
That's a big margin.
Yeah. I mean, while Texas only had the ball for 22 minutes. So that's a lot of time to be playing with, especially when it comes to where they are right now. I think I think you would expect them to have done more with the fact that they had the ball a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you how explosive Texas was in that game. I mean, by all means, like
their first drive was a 2-play drive for a touchdown. Then they had the punt return for a touchdown.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, they came out the gate swinging.
So. But it goes back to what we talked about Tuesday. Texas has had an inability to pull away from teams.
Yeah.
Because for large portions of that game, it didn't feel close.
Yeah.
And Arizona State just hung around.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for Arizona State. I'm happy they made it a close game. It was unfortunate they couldn't pull it out with that effort. I mean, somebody had to lose.
Yeah.
But that was quite a throw.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker. I mean, you could see the hurt on their face, and that goes without saying. I mean, by all means, but that's if you lose, that's exactly how you want to lose, knowing that you put it all out on the line. You gave your best effort. And I'm sure Arizona is hurting today, but I know that they have some type of, man, we fought, we wasn't even supposed to be here type situation, right? Georgia, on the other hand, they probably like, man, we should have won that game. A couple players probably like, man, I could have done this better, that better, so on and so forth. So that's just getting into the nitty gritty of sports, but whatever.
For fun, you want to take a quick couple of minutes to preview the Final Four games?
Yes.
Just quick thoughts on them.
Yeah, quick thought, man. There's a couple teams that I don't want to see win the championship, and I told you this, man. There's only one team that I want to see to win the championship based off the teams that we have in right now, and that team would be Texas. I feel like they are deserving. Now, granted, Ohio State played a great game. They look very well, but I don't want to see them win a championship. Notre Dame, I don't want to see them win a championship. Who else we got? Penn State. Okay.
I know you like James Franklin.
Yeah, Penn State is a close second. I would rather see Penn State and Texas, and being that they're on opposite sides of the bracket, if I'm not mistaken.
They are. Penn State will play Notre Dame.
Yep. So with them being on opposite sides of the bracket, my dream scenario would be Penn State versus Texas.
Okay.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I'll quickly start with the Notre Dame-Penn State game. I think you can expect to see a similar style of game that we just watched between Notre Dame and Georgia, because Notre Dame's DNA is to play in those types of games that are more about defense, more about field position, more about special teams.
Yep.
So I would guess the total is going to be in the mid-40s, like the Georgia, maybe a little higher, 47, 48. As far as the Ohio State-Texas game goes, I think those are the two most talented rosters in the sport.
Yeah.
When you talk about line play and weapons on the perimeter and secondary players on the back end of the defense, all together, it feels like, I don't want to say the championship game, but it's definitely a semifinal game.
Yes,
I mean, it's big time. And the only thing that has held these teams back throughout the regular season was inconsistencies at the quarterback play, as far as quarterback play goes,
Yeah.
So if both of those guys are on their A game, which I have a feeling they will be, as Quinn Ewers did a great job of closing out the Arizona State game, we saw a complete game from Will Howard. I think that's going to be a fantastic one.
Right. So I think ultimately, and I don't mean to cut you off,
no, go ahead.
But ultimately that means that the defensive coordinators are going to have to dial it up. They can't allow either one of these quarterbacks to get comfortable. They can't allow either one of these quarterbacks to gain the momentum. You know what I mean? And they have to dictate what these offenses are going to do.
And it's a tough task going up against Steve Sarkisian as a play caller and Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
those are two of the better play designers and play callers we have in this sport. So that's a great point by you.
I love Sarkisian as well. And that's why I have them picked to go on and at least make the championship. Will they win it? Who knows? I don't want to predict that because this past week I've been terrible.
We all know how this thing goes.
Yeah, man. But all we could do is analyze and predict what we think should happen.
Yeah.
But you got to line up and play on any given Sunday, any given Saturday, any given Friday.
Yep.
So you know what can happen. So with that being said, man, the second game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the second game is not Ohio State, but we have Notre Dame,
Penn State. Final thought on that.
Yeah.
How about Drew Aller for Penn State?
Okay.
He's not coming out this year. He's probably going to be in the draft next year. And again, we're talking about young athletes, especially at the quarterback position. You can expect some inconsistencies throughout a long regular season. So I'm looking for him to play closer to a complete game like he did against Boise State. Wasn't perfect, but pretty good. If he does that, I don't know what the line is, but I might have to side with Penn State at least for the point spread.
Right.
I would guess Notre Dame's a slight favorite, but I don't know. We'll see.
You know, I don't like Notre Dame in this situation, but I will say this. I think that this Notre Dame-Penn State game will probably be closer than what we witnessed with Notre Dame and Georgia. I think that this game, even though both of these teams like to score, I think that this will be a low-scoring affair, unlike or not like how I expect Ohio State and Texas to be. I expect them to be somewhere around the 35 to 28 range, somewhere around there. This game, I'm expecting probably 21-17
Sure.
something amongst that, like maybe even 17-14, somewhere around there. Only because these teams are similar in their play styles and
they're good situationally.
And I can admit I don't know much about the quarterback from Penn State, but Riley Leonard doesn't paint me as a gunslinger.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So they're pretty much running the ball for the most part. So I can anticipate this game to be a low scoring affair, but
sure.
I'm expecting fireworks with Texas and Ohio State, especially if Ohio State come out playing how they did against Oregon. So man. I think that's it. We have
and then we got NFL playoffs coming up. So we gotta we're not getting into that tonight, but just so y'all know, we're gonna have a bracket and everything. It's probably gonna be bad.
Yes.
But
so on our next live, after the playoff field is set, we should do a live on Sunday, but don't hold us to that. We'll get there when we get there.
Probable for that one.
Very probable. All right. So but we will line up our picks. We'll keep score, figure out who comes up with the best bracket.
You know what's probably going to happen? We're probably going to agree a good bit.
Hey, that's
we'll just both fall with this.
That's okay. That's okay. You gotta go out on your sword, man. You gotta die on your sword sometimes.
Yeah.
So we should do that. That's homework for you and myself. So
yes, for sure.
Yeah, man. You guys, let us know what you think about the Final Four in college football. And let us know who you think is gonna win, who you think is gonna be playing for the championship. Not only that, who do you think is gonna win the championship? Let's go ahead and fill out those brackets and see what happens, man. Leave a comment and let us know who you got favored. And, we look to continue the conversation like we always say, man.
We want to know what y'all are thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear it.
Any last thoughts about what the teams that's remaining? Did you pick a champion? Go ahead, pick it.
Well, we both picked before the bracket started. We both picked Texas.
Okay.
So I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. And we agree.
And we agree.
Yeah.
So we're already agreeing. See?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's really it. I'm just going to ride with Texas. They are a pretty significant underdog to Ohio State, but I think that's going to be a great game.
Yeah. So. Like I said, I'm taking Texas regardless of what the odds makers say. I think all of that is hogwash. They just put stuff out there for no reason. Right? That's why I'm always hitting on my bets. Yeah. So with that being said, man, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. More football on the way, by the way.
Yeah, be on the lookout. It's heating up.
Yeah, man. More football on the way, not only tonight, but going into the weekend. Big weekend for the NFL. Can't wait. I got my fingers crossed. I'm knocking on wood. I got my lucky rabbit's foot. I'm pulling out all the stops for this weekend because I need major help for my team.
Yep. And Carson Wentz. For your sake.
Man, I'm hoping Carson Wentz does an amazing job. I hope he plays MVP caliber football this weekend.
For those of y'all that don't know, which most of y'all probably do, big Dolphins fan, Dolphins need the Chiefs or the Broncos to lose, the Chiefs to win.
The Chiefs to win, yep.
Patrick Mahomes not playing.
Not only that, we need to win. Yeah. We face the Jets this weekend. We need to win.
Right.
All right. So, guys, put the fingers crossed emoji in the chat, man, just to wish me some luck. Because and if you're a Dolphin fan, put the Dolphin emoji in there. Please. And we're gonna go out like that, man.
There we go. That's a good way to
Dolphins, we need Tyreek Hill to step up. We need Carson Wentz to step up. Zay Worthy he's out, right? Zay Worthy might be out, but they got all the other players. They got Isaiah Pacheco running like a kid with big shoes on. We need him to go for 300 yards.
He really does run like that. Come to think of it.
We need Carson Wentz to throw for 500 yards.
Okay.
Leave no crumbs on the table, please.
If you can't tell, he's a pretty big Dolphins fan. If you can't tell by now,
man. And we'll get into this on Sunday, man. We'll get into this on Sunday. With that being said, man, hey, I appreciate you, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Sign us out, Peyton.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for coming in. Share your thoughts with us. Again, it's an ongoing conversation. We want to see what y'all think. We appreciate you for tuning in, as always. Look forward to Sunday. That's probable. We're probably going Sunday. And we'll confirm that soon.
So, we will. And so just to make sure that we confirm that, if you are following us, you'll see a tweet or you'll see some type of Instagram story, so on and so forth, some type of post to let you guys know that we will be posting. But yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it, man.
Good stuff. Until next time, man, we are the Sportaholics. My name's Russ. That's my guy, Peyton. Until next time, we out.
We out.
Good stuff, bro.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.